All right, let's talk about something that every single one of us goes through, but is also super personal and, let's be honest, usually incredibly awkward. We're talking about puberty. It's this wild journey that everyone takes, but the map can look totally different for each of us. So today, we're going to explore those different paths and uncover the surprising, shared feelings we all find along the way. But before we dive in, I've got a question for you. I want you to think back, or hey, maybe you're right in the middle of it now. What is the one secret question that absolutely everyone asks themselves during this time? Just hold that thought. We're going to circle back to it at the very end. Okay, so first things first. Let's get into the most obvious part of this whole journey, the physical changes. This is the stuff you see in the mirror, the stuff that can make you feel like you're living in a stranger's body. And yeah, it's what sparks so much of the anxiety. So right here, you can see two totally different battlegrounds in this physical experience. For guys, the anxiety often boils down to performance. Am I tall enough, strong enough? And you're dealing with these completely random changes, like your voice just deciding to betray you. For girls, a lot of it is about appearance and control. Learning to deal with periods, a new body shape, sometimes way before you feel emotionally ready for any of it. Let's break this down for the guys. That voice crack that happens right in the middle of a sentence, totally mortifying. Then you've got things like wet dreams, which can cause so much confusion and shame, mostly because nobody ever talks about them. And layered on top of all that is this constant, unspoken pressure to measure up physically, while something like acne feels like this giant deal to you, but everyone else just tells you to get over it. And for girls, the worries are just as intense. You have the real-world stress of managing periods, the pain, the constant fear of leaks, but then there's this sudden and often really unwanted attention on your body as it changes. And that leads to this nonstop internal monologue of, am I getting fat, or is this normal? It honestly feels like your body is in a sprint and your mind is just desperately trying to keep up. But, as chaotic as all the physical stuff is, the emotional storm that's brewing inside, that can be even more confusing. So, welcome to the emotional maze of puberty. And here you can kind of see the different playbooks we're given for our emotions. Boys are so often taught to just bottle everything up, which can either cause all that frustration to boil over to anger or just lead to total silence. Girls, on the other hand, often deal with more obvious mood swings driven by hormones and this brand new sensitivity in all their friendships and relationships. For boys, there's this huge, huge pressure to perform emotional strength, right? Don't cry, don't show weakness. But when you don't have anywhere to put your fear or your confusion, those feelings don't just vanish. They can fester and turn into anger or rebellion. And it just leaves you feeling like you have no safe space to ask the really big questions about sex, about who you are, about whether you're even good enough. For girls, that emotional roller coaster is often tied so directly to hormonal cycles, and that can cause these intense mood swings that feel completely out of your control. This usually goes hand in hand with a huge spike in self-doubt, especially about appearance. All of a sudden, friendships and crushes feel like they have world-ending stakes, and every little comment can feel intensely personal. Okay, so it's really important to remember none of this is happening in a bubble, right? Floating above all these personal, physical, and emotional changes is this giant cloud of what society expects from us. So let's take a look at the social blueprint we all get handed. I mean, just look at this. It's so black and white, isn't it? For boys, it's all about being strong, being in charge. For girls, it's about being agreeable, being beautiful, being careful. These really rigid and often conflicting expectations just pour gasoline on every single insecurity we've just talked about. They make it incredibly hard to figure out who you actually are. Let's just sit with this for a moment. Be a man. It's just 3 little words, but man, they carry so much weight. For a boy who's struggling with confusion or anxiety or sadness, that phrase isn't helpful. It's a wall. It tells him flat out that his real feelings are wrong and that he better hide them. So we've looked at these two completely different experiences full of their own unique challenges. But this is where it all comes together. Because underneath all the different physical changes and emotional rules and social pressures, there's a secret we all share. This is the question. It's at the very heart of everything. It doesn't matter if you're worried about your voice cracking or about getting your period. The deep down fear is exactly the same. Is what's happening to me normal? And of course, that feeling of being different leads you right here, to this really profound sense of being alone. When your own body and your own feelings seem like they're from another planet,
It's so easy to believe that no one else on Earth could possibly understand what you're going through.
And then there's this one, the rawest, most vulnerable question of them all. This is the one we talked about at the very beginning, that secret question that everyone asks themselves when they're alone in the dark. It's the fear that all this change, all this chaos, isn't just a phase, but that it's a fundamental flaw in who you are.
And you know what? The answer to all of those questions is right here. You are normal. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are just in the messy, confusing, but totally universal process of growing up. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. If we all secretly share these exact same fears, no matter what our journey looks like on the outside, how can we use that? How can we be more patient, more empathetic, and maybe create safer spaces for the people in our lives who are going through it right now? That's definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me for this one.